chosen one. Pause for a moment. The noise around you fades, and something sacred begins. You can almost sense it, the stillness that only comes when heaven leans close. This is not coincidence. It's a divine interruption. You were meant to see this. You were meant to feel this pull. Heaven has stopped time for you. You've been walking through days that felt endless, through nights that seemed too heavy to bear. Maybe you've even whispered, "God, do you still see me?" The answer is yes. He has seen every tear, every silent battle, every time you chose faith instead of fear. And now he says, listen. Now, it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Let those words sink deep. They are not just ancient ink on paper. They are breath from the same God who formed you. You've been tired. I know. The kind of tired that sleep can't fix. The kind of weary that lives behind your smile. But the Lord promises renewal. You will soar again. Think about the eagle. It doesn't fear the storm. It uses the wind to climb higher. The very winds meant to break you will become the winds that lift you. The same pressure that once pushed you down will now carry you above the chaos. That is how heaven works, turning opposition into elevation. There was once a chosen one who felt forgotten. She prayed for years, waiting for a sign, holding on to a promise that seemed buried under disappointment. But she didn't know that beneath the surface, God was building unseen roots deep, strong, unshakable. When the appointed season arrived, her breakthrough came suddenly, like dawn bursting through the night. And when it came, she realized the waiting was never wasted. Maybe that's you right now. Maybe your story feels paused. But this pause isn't punishment, it's positioning. The author is still writing. Every delay has divine fingerprints. Every not yet is making room for something greater than you can imagine. You see, heaven doesn't rush. The kingdom moves with purpose. And right now, that purpose is unfolding inside you. You are being refined, not rejected, strengthened, not silenced, prepared, not punished. The presence of God is near. You can sense it, a warmth, a stillness, a knowing that you are seen. Every battle you faced was never random. It was revealing your capacity to carry more light. Darkness wouldn't have fought you so hard if you weren't carrying something precious. Now, breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tension leave your body. The peace you're feeling right now is not imaginary. It's the whisper of the Holy Spirit, reminding you that you are safe in His plan. If you look back, you'll see the pattern. Every loss led to growth. Every detour led to destiny. The thread of grace has been weaving through your story even when you couldn't see it. And today, that thread glows brighter. You are stepping into the moment heaven prepared for you before you even knew His name. So don't hide your heart anymore. Don't shrink to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You are meant to stand tall, to walk with quiet confidence, knowing that the Creator of galaxies calls you His own. This message isn't about hype, it's about truth. It's about you remembering who you are. You are the one He chose, not by accident, but by divine intention. The light inside you is proof that He lives in you. The world needs that light. Someone out there is waiting for your story, your voice, your testimony. What if your obedience is the key that unlocks someone else's hope? If this word reaches your spirit, let heaven see your yes. Comment the number 1 below, a simple number. A silent agreement that says, I'm ready. Share this message if it resonates. Someone else might need this same reminder today. And subscribe so you don't miss what God will unfold next, because this is only the beginning. The pause is over. The wind is rising. Your time has come to soar. The heavens are opening wider now, and every chain that once held you begins to lose its grip. You may not see it yet, but something invisible is aligning in your favor. What once felt impossible is quietly shifting into place, guided by unseen hands that have always been working for your good. You are not just walking into a new season, you are walking into divine momentum. Step forward with courage. Lift your eyes. And remember, when God says it is time, nothing on earth can hold you back. The storm was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal who was standing beside you in the dark. Every gust of wind, every wave that tried to drown your peace, was actually carving out a deeper faith within you. You thought you were being punished, but you were being prepared. Heaven was not silent. Heaven was strengthening your roots. There is a quiet whisper that speaks even in chaos. You may not always hear it with your ears, but your spirit knows. It is that inner calm when everything outside is falling apart, that gentle voice that says, keep standing. That whisper is not your imagination. It's the voice of Jesus cutting through the noise of your storm. Scripture says in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Those words have power. They are not an invitation to do nothing. They are a command to trust. Stillness is not weakness, it is confidence. It is the strength that says, I don't need to fight every battle, because the Lord fights for me. You've been trying to fix everything, haven't you? To hold it all together, to understand every twist and turn of your journey. But sometimes God allows the storm to strip away what was never meant to stay. The wind doesn't come to end you, it comes to remove what cannot go with you into your next season. There's a story of another chosen one, someone who thought they had lost it all. Their plans crumbled. Their circle grew silent. Their dreams shattered like glass on stone. They cried out, where are you, God? And in that still moment, when all they had left was surrender, they heard the whisper, right here. And that was all it took. Not a miracle yet. Not a sign in the sky, just the certainty that they were not alone. That awareness became their anchor. Even before the storm ended, peace entered their heart. You see, peace doesn't come when the storm stops. Peace comes when you realize who's in the boat with you. The same voice that spoke to the wind on the Sea of Galilee is speaking over your storm now. He has not left you adrift. He is steering you through the chaos. Look closer. Storms are not the absence of God. Sometimes they are His classroom. In stillness, you learn what you couldn't learn in comfort. The thunder that frightened you is teaching you to listen more deeply. The darkness that confused you is training you to recognize light even in shadows. Every storm ends, eventually, but what it leaves behind matters more than what it took. It leaves strength. It leaves wisdom. It leaves faith that doesn't depend on sight. The person who entered the storm will not be the same one who emerges. You will step out of this stronger, wiser, softer in spirit, but unbreakable in soul. And when you do, you will look back and say, if not for the storm, I wouldn't have known his peace. That realization is holy. It transforms pain into power. It turns fear into testimony. Imagine standing on the shore after the waves calm. The air still carries the scent of rain. The horizon glows with a faint light, and you realize you survived what was meant to sink you. The whisper that guided you through the darkness now fills your heart with quiet strength. You no longer fear storms, because you've met the one who commands them. So let the winds roar if they must. Let the waves crash. Your foundation is no longer built on comfort, but on Christ himself. The same hands that shaped the stars are holding your life steady. Do not rush the calm. Sometimes God ends a storm slowly, so your heart can catch up to the miracle. You are learning to breathe again, to see beauty even in brokenness. That's grace at work, turning chaos into clarity. And when peace finally settles, you will recognize something extraordinary. The whisper never left. It was there all along, speaking under the thunder, calling you deeper into trust. You are safe now, not because the storm is gone, but because you know who calms it. And as the clouds part, the first light of dawn stretches across your horizon. The silence after the storm is not empty, it's sacred. You can almost hear heaven breathe. See, I was there all along. The wind that once screamed now whispers your name with gentleness. You are standing in peace that no storm can steal. The whisper remains, steady and faithful, guiding you toward the next promise written for you since the beginning of time. You have always known, somewhere deep inside, that you were different. You felt it when others didn't understand your heart. You sensed it when life pushed you into corners that forced you to grow faster than most. You've walked roads that many avoided, carried burdens that others couldn't see, and yet something in you refused to quit. That unexplainable resilience, it was never luck. It was calling, as recorded in the first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. And those words describe you more than you realize. You were never ordinary. You were set apart. You've always been marked by light that made darkness uncomfortable. That's why rejection couldn't break you. That's why betrayal didn't bury you. The fire that tried to destroy you only revealed what you were made of. There was a chosen one, a man who spent years misunderstood. People mocked his dreams, dismissed his kindness, and questioned his faith. He didn't fight back. He stayed faithful. When the time came, every word he once spoke in faith became reality. And even his enemies had to admit he was never crazy. He was called. His story mirrors yours more than you know. You've carried an anointing that others couldn't recognize because it wasn't meant for everyone to understand. Oil can't mix with water. Your spirit doesn't blend with mediocrity because you were designed to disturb the ordinary. That tension you felt all your life isn't punishment, it's proof of divine separation. Look at the stars. They shine brightest against the blackest sky. That's you. God placed you in dark places, not to lose you, but to show what his light looks like through a willing vessel. You don't have to dim to belong. You were born to illuminate. Still, being chosen isn't glamorous. It's costly. It means you'll walk alone at times, It means carrying vision before others can see it. But the beauty of being chosen is that you're never truly alone the same. Hand that called you walks beside you through every wilderness. Somewhere, you've mistaken solitude for abandonment, but solitude is sacred ground. It's the space where heaven whispers your true identity before the crowd tries to rename you. Remember when David tended sheep in silence? That pasture was his training ground for kingship. In the same way, your hidden seasons are birthing greatness. You can't yet measure. You might think you're behind. But God is writing a story that won't look like anyone else's timeline. Others may seem ahead, but they don't have your mission. They don't carry your mantle. Your pace is not slow, it's sacred. So stop comparing your becoming to someone else's arrival. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your original obedience. You are being shaped in silence, so you can speak with power later. You were never made to blend in. Your light was meant to confront darkness. That's why situations that drained others couldn't destroy you. You carry spiritual DNA that refuses to surrender. You're not built to fade, you're built to rise. There's a moment approaching when everything hidden will make sense. The pieces will connect. You'll see that every closed door was divine direction. Every loss was preservation. Every delay was alignment. You'll stand in awe, not just of what God did, but of who you've become while waiting. So take a breath. Look around. Feel heaven's gaze upon you. You are seen. You are chosen. And your becoming is not delayed, it's divine. Comment, I am ready. Say it not as empty words, but as a declaration. You're not just typing, you're agreeing with heaven. Every time you speak those words, you affirm what God already placed inside you, the readiness to walk into your identity fully, fearlessly, and faithfully, because you are not like the rest. You were never meant to be. You are a chosen one, called to carry light in a world that forgot what light feels like. And soon, the world will see what heaven has known all along, that your difference was never a defect, it was destiny. When you comment those 3 words, I am ready, you're not performing for the world, you're responding to heaven. It's a sacred echo, a sign that your heart agrees with what God already whispered. In that simple act, you tell the unseen realm, I choose faith over fear. I choose obedience over hesitation. It's not about algorithms or screens. It's about alignment. Every I am ready becomes a ripple of light, declaring that another chosen one has awakened, standing tall beneath the gaze of a faithful God. The weight you've carried has not gone unnoticed. It has been heavy, heavier than most could bear, and yet you have walked forward anyway. People see your smile, but not the storm inside it. They see your strength, but not the nights you spent praying for a reason to keep going. There's something sacred about that kind of endurance. The kind that chooses to keep believing, even when every emotion says to stop. You've wondered why your path seemed so much harder than others, why your battles felt personal, why you carried wounds from wars no one else even knew were happening. But heaven knows, nothing you've faced has been wasted. Every tear has watered seeds of wisdom that will soon bloom in ways you can't yet imagine. It was proclaimed in the letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Unset. That verse doesn't mean every situation is good. It means every situation will become good when surrendered to him. Even the pain that once felt purposeless is now being rewritten into redemption. You have been walking through divine refinement, not random suffering. There was a chosen one long ago who felt this same weight. He carried the expectations of others, the fear of failure, and the constant ache of waiting for breakthrough. People thought his silence was weakness, but in truth, it was the sound of transformation. When God finally lifted him, no one recognized him at first because pain had changed his posture and purpose had changed his eyes. That's what's happening to you. Your trials have been chisels in the hand of a careful sculptor. Every disappointment has carved away what didn't belong. Every betrayal stripped you of false dependence. Every loss made space for something truer to take root. It's painful to be remade, but it's far worse to remain unshaped. Picture a blacksmith at his forge. The fire is fierce. The hammer is relentless. But the metal that endures the process becomes unbreakable. That's you. You've been in the fire, but not abandoned in it. You've been struck by circumstance, but every strike is shaping your strength. When you emerge, you will carry resilience forged in heaven's fire, beautiful, strong, and untouchable. Sometimes, it's the unseen battles that define a soul's greatness. You've fought wars in silence, wars of anxiety, doubt, and loneliness. And though you may not feel victorious, your endurance has already won heaven's applause. Every time you refused to quit, angels took note. Every small act of courage became a declaration that darkness could not have you. The weight you carry has taught you empathy. You've learned to see others differently because you know what pain feels like. You no longer judge suffering from a distance. You recognize it in someone's eyes and extend grace instead of comparison. That is the mark of the refined, those who have wrestled with sorrow and come out with compassion. And through it all, God was never far. Even when his silence felt cruel, he was closer than your breath. Silence was not absence, it was intimacy in disguise. The same hands that held the cross now hold your story. Every scar you bear has meaning. Every ache has redemption attached to it. You are not fragile, you are tempered. You've been stretched, tested, and pressed beyond your comfort. Yet here you are still standing. That's not coincidence, that's evidence of purpose. The pressure you've endured was preparation for what's next. Soon, you'll realize that the strength you gained wasn't just for survival, it was for service. Others will find healing in the testimony you once thought was only pain. They'll see the glow of someone who's walked through fire and still carries light. So do not despise your journey. Do not curse the nights that broke you open. They are the reason your faith runs deep now. They're the reason your prayers carry power. They're why your heart beats with empathy for the wounded. You've been refined, not ruined. You've been tested, not torn apart. The weight has not crushed you, it has crowned you with quiet authority. And when the time comes, you'll lift your head and finally understand the burden was never punishment. It was preparation for glory. And in that moment of realization, you'll feel something shift inside you, the heaviness dissolving into peace. What once felt like chains now feels like wings. The same weight that bowed your shoulders becomes the wind that lifts your spirit higher. You will look back and see it clearly. The struggle didn't break you. It built you for divine strength yet to be revealed. There comes a moment when revelation doesn't arrive with thunder or lightning. It arrives with stillness. It happens quietly, like sunrise spilling light over a sleeping city. That's how the truth of your calling begins to dawn on you. Suddenly, you understand why things happened the way they did, why doors closed, why seasons ended, why people left. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You've been in a long night, searching for meaning. But dawn is breaking. The darkness that once terrified you now fades into the background as you realize it was never powerful enough to keep you from what God promised. You were only walking through it to reach the light on the other side. As Jesus declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 12, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." That verse is more than comfort, it's instruction. You've been walking in partial light, but now Jesus invites you into fullness. He doesn't ask you to perform, to prove, to perfect yourself. He only asks you to follow, to trust the light when your eyes are still adjusting from the dark. When the revelation comes, it won't just explain your past, it will unlock your future. You'll see that every detour carried divine fingerprints. Every unanswered prayer was protection from something too small for your destiny. What you thought was loss was actually a sacred exchange, God trading your pain for purpose. A chosen one once stood where you stand now. She had been wandering through confusion, feeling invisible to heaven. Then, one morning, a soft realization came over her heart. Everything she thought was falling apart had actually been falling into place. The pain was part of the pattern. The delay was direction. And when she finally stopped running, the revelation unfolded gently like a letter written long ago, finally opened at the right time. That's how heaven works. It hides purpose in the ordinary. It whispers truth between breaths. It allows certain seasons to hurt just enough to make you look up, because revelation doesn't come to the busy, it comes to the still. When the truth of your identity hits you, it won't inflate your pride, it will humble you. You'll realize you were never surviving by your own strength, you were being carried by grace. The same hand that formed galaxies has been guiding every detail of your story, patiently waiting for the moment you'd finally see it. And when you do, something inside you changes forever. Gratitude replaces confusion. Wonder replaces worry. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Thank you, Lord, for choosing me." This is the moment where heaven whispers, "Rise," not because you've earned it, but because you're ready to see through the eyes of faith. The shadows that once frightened you now look smaller under the light of understanding. The maze becomes a map. The pain becomes proof that God's promises never fail. When that revelation settles in your heart, it's like light spilling into every forgotten corner of your soul. You begin to see beauty in places you once saw only brokenness. You start to forgive not because you're weak, but because you've realized bitterness can't survive in the presence of revelation. Now listen closely. There's a soft invitation lingering here. It isn't a demand, it's a gentle call. When light touches your heart, it naturally wants to spread. The same way morning sunlight spills through open windows. Let what you've received here reach others. So if this word stirred something deep inside you, let it move. Let it flow outward in gratitude. Click the heart if you feel warmth rising in your chest. It's not about approval, it's about agreement. Like sunlight kissing morning dew. Your simple touch sends ripples of light across unseen hearts. If this light found you in your darkness, let it travel to someone else's dawn, Share it like a candle passing flame to flame. Each share becomes a wing beat of light across the horizon, carrying hope to those still waiting for sunrise. And if your heart whispers, "I want to stay in this light," then choose to remain. Subscribe, not out of habit, but out of hunger to walk with the same light that's walking with you now. Each step deeper is like planting roots in the soil of revelation, where faith blossoms again and again. This isn't an obligation, it's a love response. Every act of faith, every gesture of connection, becomes worship when done from revelation. The moment of revelation has come. Chosen one, you are standing in holy light. The shadows that once defined you are fading, and your purpose is glowing clearer than ever before. Step forward. Let your light rise with His. The story is only beginning, and now you can finally see where it's leading. There is a rhythm in heaven, and when you step into it, everything begins to align. The things that once felt scattered, the pieces that seemed out of place, suddenly find harmony. You begin to see that your life was never random. It has always been a divine composition. Every silence, every ache, every unanswered prayer has been part of a melody only heaven could write. You've come through fire and flood, yet here you stand, breathing. That is not coincidence. That is purpose surviving the storm. You've walked through valleys that tried to drain your hope, and yet your spirit refused to die. Now, a holy shift begins. The atmosphere around your life is changing. You're stepping into a new rhythm of restoration, the kind that only God can orchestrate. As written in the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 6, "It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give water without cost from the spring of the water of life." No, this is what heaven declares over you. It is done. The struggle that tried to define you does not get the final word. The dryness that once cracked your faith is about to be quenched by living water. You are not entering another fight. You are stepping into fulfillment. The season of waiting has reached its divine completion. There was a chosen one who carried promises that seemed impossible. Every time he took a step forward, it felt like the ground gave way beneath him. It questioned, doubted, even pleaded for release. But in the stillness between his prayers and heaven's answer, something unexplainable happened. Peace found him before the promise did. When the fulfillment finally came, he realized it wasn't sudden. It had always been building beneath the surface. That's where you are now, in the sacred space between promise and completion. The world calls it waiting. Heaven calls it becoming. The delay was never empty. It was a workshop where God refined your character, healed old wounds, and shaped your heart to carry what's coming next. Imagine standing at the edge of an ocean after years of drought. The waves rush toward you, cool and alive, washing away the dust of old seasons. That's what's happening right now. In the unseen, the tide of restoration is rising. What was barren is beginning to bloom again. What was silent is learning to sing. Heaven is completing something in you. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel it, the gentle stirring of completion. The whisper that says, "It is done." The pain that once haunted you now feels distant, like a shadow fading at sunrise. The lessons you've learned are becoming the foundation of your next season. And now, heaven invites you to respond, not out of pressure, but out of agreement. Faith is not passive, it speaks. It acts. It marks sacred moments with symbols that echo through eternity. That's why I invite you to comment the number 999 below. The number 999 carries the vibration of divine completion and heavenly renewal. It signifies that something is ending, not in loss, but in fulfillment. It is heaven's gentle way of saying, the old cycle is closed. The new one begins now. When you write 999, you're not performing for others, you're participating in prophecy. You are declaring, my old season is finished. My new one has started in peace. Think of it as a door closing softly behind you, while another one opens wide ahead. You don't slam it shut. You simply walk through. The number becomes a key, a symbol of transition. It's a way for your spirit to say to heaven, I recognize this shift. I choose to align with it. Each time someone types 999, a ripple moves through the unseen, like stones dropped into still water. It's a collective sound of endings transforming into beginnings, of ashes turning into beauty. Heaven hears every number as a whisper of surrender. It is done, Lord, and I am ready for what's next. End quote. You've carried the weight long enough. Now the season changes. God's declaration over your life is not try harder, it's rest. Because it is done, let the living water of His Spirit wash over you. Let it fill the cracks. Revive your hope. Renew your strength. The completion of one chapter is not the end. It's the rhythm leading into the next. Every ending in God's hands becomes a new beginning in disguise. You are stepping into that rhythm now, the divine cadence of completion, peace, and purpose. Write it. Believe it. Breathe it in. 999. Heaven's sign that your waiting has ended. Your heart is renewed, and your new beginning has begun. There are battles that are visible arguments, disappointments, conflicts with people, but there are also wars that take place in silence, the kind that no one sees except heaven. Those are the hardest ones. The battles inside the heart, between faith and fear, between surrender and control. You've fought those wars longer than you admit. And the truth is, God has seen every round. You thought you were losing because it felt like your strength was fading. But the real victory wasn't in how loud you fought, it was in how long you stood. The enemy doesn't fear noise, he fears endurance. He fears someone who keeps showing up in prayer even when nothing changes. He fears the soul that refuses to curse God in pain, that whispers, still, I trust you. 1. According to what is revealed in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. 1. You've been fighting a hidden war, not with people, but with darkness that wanted your peace. Every doubt, every lie, every surge of fear was part of that invisible resistance. But what the enemy underestimated was the resilience of your spirit. Even in the unseen, your faith has been striking blows he cannot recover from. There was a chosen one whose life seemed ordinary, yet every step was a battlefield. They faced waves of discouragement so deep that even hope felt like fiction. Yet, something inside them wouldn't die. Every morning, they rose again, carrying silent prayers like swords, choosing love when hate would have been easier. They didn't realize it then, but heaven was writing their endurance into eternity's record. That same endurance lives in you. You have fought in shadows, but heaven has recorded every moment. Angels have surrounded you when you thought you were alone. They've guarded your mind when fear came like a flood. The fact that you are still here, still seeking, still listening, is proof that you have already won more battles than you know. Spiritual warfare isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like forgiving when no apology comes. Sometimes it's keeping your heart soft when life tries to harden it. Sometimes it's waking up another day and daring to believe there's purpose left. Those are victories too quiet, radiant ones that echo louder in heaven than in the world. Picture a battlefield after the smoke clears. The ground is scarred, but sunlight begins to break through the haze. That's where you are now. The war didn't end with you defeated. It ended with you wiser. The scars you carry are not signs of failure. They're medals of survival. Proof that you faced darkness and didn't bow. In the quiet of your soul, you've learned that strength isn't the absence of weakness. It's the decision to stand in spite of it. You've learned that bravery doesn't mean never trembling. It means trembling while still believing. You've learned that peace isn't found in escape. It's born from endurance. You may have felt invisible, but heaven saw every choice. When you resisted bitterness, light was born. When you forgave, heaven celebrated. When you prayed with shaking hands, the sound echoed louder than the enemy's roar. Those moments changed things in ways you'll only understand later. The hidden battles have forged something priceless inside you, a faith that doesn't need proof to keep walking. The storms may have shouted louder, but your quiet yes to God carried more authority than any darkness could withstand. And now, as the dust settles, you begin to see how those invisible wars have shaped your soul into a weapon of light. You carry authority born of survival, compassion born of pain, wisdom born of waiting. You don't need to announce your strength. It radiates through your peace. You are no longer the same person who entered those storms. You've seen too much to fear shadows now. You've discovered that even in warfare, grace remains the strongest force. The same grace that carried you will continue to cover you as you move forward, not as a victim of battle, but as a victor crowned in quiet glory. So stand tall, not in arrogance, but in gratitude. Every hidden fight brought you closer to divine understanding. Every unseen victory rewrote your story in heaven's ink. You've endured the hidden battle, and now you walk not just as one who survived, but as one who understands that the fight was never just about you. It was about the light you now carry for others, still fighting their own unseen wars. There are moments in life when you look back and realize how many times you've been delayed, times when opportunities slipped away just as you reached for them, when doors closed before you could knock twice. You wondered why it kept happening, why every step forward seemed to meet resistance. But what you couldn't see then, heaven sees now. Those delays were divine strategy. You thought you were being held back, but you were being held apart. There's a difference. God wasn't punishing you. He was protecting you from arriving somewhere before your heart was ready to handle it. Not every open door is safe, and not every opportunity is divine. Some things look like blessings but carry a weight that would have crushed you too soon. According to what is written in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. That verse is not a limitation, it's liberation. It frees you from the illusion that every plan must succeed for your destiny to unfold. Heaven's wisdom is greater than your understanding. The Lord's no has saved you more times than you'll ever know. There was once a chosen one who faced years of delay. Every time they thought the moment had come, life would bend in another direction. They prayed, fasted, believed, but nothing seemed to move. What they didn't realize was that the delay wasn't about time, it was about transformation. Each pause was sharpening their discernment, deepening their humility, strengthening their patience. And when the right door finally opened, they didn't just step through it, they soared through it with wisdom forged in waiting. You, too, have been in that sacred waiting room. The frustration you felt wasn't fruitless, it was formation. While you waited, heaven was rearranging things behind the scenes, setting up alignment that your eyes couldn't see. Sometimes God hides his yes inside a season of silence because he knows that what's growing in the quiet will anchor you later in the storm. Think of a symphony being tuned before a performance. Each instrument must align with the right tone before the music begins. If one note is off, the whole song falters. That's what divine timing is. It's God tuning every detail of your life until your purpose harmonizes perfectly with his will. When you face delay, you have two choices: to see it as denial or to see it as design. When you see it as design, peace replaces frustration. You begin to understand that if something hasn't happened yet, it's because God is still perfecting what concerns you. His timing is not late, it's layered. Every delay carries purpose folded into its fabric. Sometimes, heaven withholds what you want to reveal, what you need. That job that didn't work out saved you from exhaustion. That relationship that ended spared you from heartbreak that would have silenced your calling. That season of obscurity built roots that fame could never give. You may have cried over closed doors, but one day you'll thank God for every lock he didn't let you pick. There's a quiet power in learning to wait well. Waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what's necessary while trusting what's invisible. It means tending the garden, even when you see no blooms. It means believing that when the season shifts, the harvest will be too abundant to measure, and it will. The things that seemed slow are gathering momentum in the unseen. The plans that felt paused are being polished by divine hands. The same God who aligned the stars is aligning your steps. Nothing is off course. Nothing is wasted. You will look back and see that heaven's strategy was never to withhold, but to prepare. Every not yet protected you from something smaller than your purpose. Every delay was a divine detour leading to the precise place you were always meant to be. Imagine standing on a mountain after years of wandering in fog. The mist lifts, and suddenly the whole landscape unfolds. You see the path you once cursed, now glowing like a thread of gold woven through your story. That's what revelation after delay feels like, the shock of beauty you never expected to find in the places that once felt barren. So, no, you haven't missed your moment. You're right on time. God's strategy has been flawless, even in its mystery. The same divine hand that withheld will now release, not because you finally earned it, but because the time has finally matured. Every waiting room in heaven has a door that opens at the appointed hour. Yours is near, and when it does, you won't rush. You'll walk through it with calm assurance, knowing that what's unfolding now could only bloom because of what once waited. There are words inside you that have never been spoken, truths buried beneath years of silence, prayers whispered into pillows, songs that never left your chest. But heaven has been listening to every unspoken syllable. The world may have ignored your voice, but heaven never did. And now, that same heaven is saying, it's time to speak. Your story is not small. Every moment you thought was wasted has become a sentence in a divine message. The pain you've survived, the wisdom you've gained, the hope you've held, it's all meant to awaken someone else. There's power in your testimony, light in your language. You don't need eloquence to speak for God. You just need honesty. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 9. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. And that touch still happens. It's not a moment from history. It's a miracle that repeats itself in every chosen one who dares to open their mouth in faith. You may not think you're a preacher or a poet, but heaven calls you a messenger. When you speak truth born from pain, it carries more power than you can imagine. There was a chosen one who never thought their words mattered. They believed their voice was too quiet, their story too ordinary. But one day, they spoke up, not with anger, but with conviction. What they shared reached someone who was about to give up. One voice saved another. That's how heaven works, through ordinary people who speak extraordinary truth. Your voice is not just sound, it's spiritual movement. When you speak light, darkness trembles. When you tell your story, chains break silently in hearts you've never met. There are people right now praying for the exact words that live inside you. Your obedience to speak could be their miracle. Think of your voice as a torch. You've carried it through storms, shielded it from wind and rain, and now it's time to lift it high. Every scar, every survival, every tear you've turned into testimony, that's the oil that fuels your flame. You don't need to shout. Even a whisper of truth can pierce the noise of this world. The enemy's greatest fear is not your pain, it's your voice healed from pain. Because when you speak after being restored, your words carry authority, born of authenticity. They reach places sermons can't. They touch hearts logic can't. They speak to souls in a language only healing understands. There's someone, somewhere, who will only believe in God's love because they hear it through your voice. You may never see their face, but heaven will show you one day how far your words traveled. The echo of your courage will outlive you. You were never meant to stay silent. Every chosen one carries a sound that matches their assignment. Yours has been maturing through the pain, waiting for the right moment to be released. And that moment is now. So, as a prophetic act, I invite you to comment, speak, Lord. Say it not to the screen, but to your spirit. It's an ancient prayer, a declaration that your ears are open and your voice is ready. When you write those words, it's like unlocking a door inside yourself, allowing heaven's breath to flow through you. Speak, Lord. It's short, but it's sacred. It's the same posture Samuel had when he first heard God's whisper in the night. Those two words carry surrender and readiness, the perfect balance of humility and courage. This is how revival begins. One open heart, one obedient voice, one whisper that carries eternity's weight. The same God who spoke through prophets now chooses ordinary people to echo his message in new ways. That includes you. So, don't bury your story anymore. Let it live. Breathe. And bless others. You've been silent long enough. Heaven's spotlight is gentle, not harsh. It's grace, calling you to step forward, to let your voice awaken others still sleeping in the dark. When you speak, chains fall. When you testify, faith rises. When you say, "Speak, Lord," heaven listens and answers through you. When you comment those words, "Speak, Lord," you're not asking for noise, you're inviting revelation. It's a humble surrender that tells heaven, "I'm listening now. I'm ready to be used." You're giving permission for divine instruction to meet human readiness. And that's where miracles begin. It's not just a phrase, it's a doorway. The moment you say it, you align yourself with heaven's frequency. The whisper becomes clearer, direction sharper, and peace deeper. Heaven doesn't stay silent when a willing heart says, "Speak, Lord." Joy has a strange way of finding its way into the cracks of broken hearts. It doesn't burst in like fireworks. It seeps in quietly, like sunlight sneaking through a curtain you forgot to close. You don't even notice it at first. You just realize one day that the heaviness you used to carry feels lighter, and laughter has begun to return to your voice. That's the mystery of divine joy. It doesn't ignore pain, it redeems it. What the world calls recovery, heaven calls resurrection. God doesn't give you joy as a reward after the storm. He gives it to you inside the storm, as proof that He still reigns within you. As written in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 11, "You turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy." That's the exchange God has been waiting to make with you, not to erase your story, but to rewrite its ending. Every night of mourning was a rehearsal for this morning of dancing. Every tear watered the soil where your next harvest of joy will grow. Heaven has been watching your persistence, your faith, your hope that refused to stay buried. There was a chosen one who spent years in sorrow. Life felt like an endless winter. Faith felt dry, and every prayer echoed back unanswered. But one day, joy found them again, not through a miracle, not through achievement, but through peace. They realized joy wasn't something they had to chase. It was something they carried all along. It had just been buried under the rubble of worry and doubt. That's how divine joy works. It's not loud, it's steady. It's not shallow happiness, it's deep, anchored delight that doesn't depend on circumstances. It's the ability to smile even when you don't have the answers, because you've learned that the presence of Jesus is enough. Your story is shifting now. The ashes that once defined your season are becoming fertile ground for beauty. The heaviness you've been dragging is lifting. God is clothing you with new joy, the kind that doesn't fade when life changes, the kind that shines brighter in the dark. Imagine standing in a field after rain. The earth still smells of storm, but the air is fresh, full of promise. The sun breaks through the clouds, and light spills across everything that was once grey. That's what's happening in your spirit now. Joy is breaking through. It's not forced. It's not fragile. It's freedom. You are stepping into a season where laughter is holy, where peace feels like worship, where every breath feels like a hymn of gratitude. You're not escaping your past, you're redeeming it. Every sorrow is being rewritten into a song of survival. Now, Let your heart breathe again. Let yourself feel how far you've come. You don't owe the past your fear anymore. You owe the future your joy. And as that realization blooms, something beautiful begins to unfold, the desire to share it. Because joy, true joy, was never meant to be hoarded. It's contagious, like fire that spreads quietly until everything cold starts to warm. When you share it, it multiplies. When you speak it, it strengthens others. When you let it overflow, it becomes a testimony. So, if this joy is beginning to rise in you, let it ripple outward in small, sacred ways. Click the heart, not as a reaction, but as a reflection, like lighting a candle to say, I feel this light too. And if someone comes to mind who's still walking through a night like the one you just survived, share this message the way a lantern shares its flame, quietly, kindly, without demand. Let it travel to someone who forgot that joy still exists. And if you sense that this space has become a small corner of peace for your soul, then subscribe, not as an obligation, but as a way of keeping your spirit connected to the same current of hope that brought you here. Like planting a seed in soil that feels right, you do it because something inside you says, I belong here. Oh, every act of connection becomes worship when joy is the motive. Each click, each share, each subscription, these are not digital gestures, but spiritual echoes saying, thank you, Lord, for bringing back my joy. No, the crown of joy is not earned, it's given. And right now, it's being placed gently on your head. You don't need to strive for it, you only need to receive it. Let laughter return to your days, peace to your nights, and gratitude to your steps. Because this is your divine exchange, mourning for dancing, sorrow for song, heaviness for light. And as heaven smiles over you, the sound that fills the air is not thunder, but music, the music of joy, playing softly, endlessly, within you. There are moments when life feels like a courtroom, your past accusing you on one side, your fears whispering against you on the other. You stand in the middle, unsure which voice to believe. The world calls you guilty for things you've already confessed, and your mind replays old failures like evidence. But heaven has already ruled on your case, and the verdict has never changed. You are redeemed. Redemption isn't denial of what happened, it's transformation of what it meant. God doesn't erase the story, He rewrites its power. The things that once broke you become the very proof of grace. What the enemy used to shame you, God now uses to shine through you. Every injustice, every betrayal, every disappointment has been quietly flipping in your favor, as declared in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 7. The Lord is good, a refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in Him. End of for. The word refuge means shelter, a place you run to, not away from. You've been running for so long, thinking you had to defend yourself. But the truth is, you were never asked to fight alone. God has been your advocate all along, working cases in the unseen, defending your name where you could not, preparing justice that doesn't humiliate but heals. There was a chosen one who once felt robbed of everything: time, peace, reputation. Life seemed unfair, people seemed cruel, and God seemed distant. But years later, when the truth came to light, restoration came in a way they couldn't have imagined. What they thought was loss had simply been placed in safekeeping. The delay was never denial, it was divine preservation until the timing was right. You may not have seen it yet, but your own tables turning moment is forming. Every injustice you've endured is under review in heaven's court. The same God who defended Joseph in prison and elevated him in Egypt is writing your turnaround right now. You are being lifted not for revenge, but for revelation that grace is stronger than grievance, and peace more powerful than payback. The hardest part of waiting for justice is letting go of the need to control it. You've wanted closure, apologies, or explanations, but sometimes God's justice comes not through words, but through transformation. He changes you so deeply that what once hurt you no longer holds you. You rise not with vengeance, but with victory that cannot be touched. Picture a scale, the kind used to measure truth. On one side, you've placed your pain, your frustration, your sense of unfairness. But God has been adding weight to the other side: healing, wisdom, perspective, peace. The balance is shifting. Soon you'll realize that His restoration outweighs every wound. Sometimes justice isn't loud. It's subtle. Like peace arriving after years of turmoil. It's waking up one morning and realizing that the memory no longer burns. It's being able to bless what once broke you. That's when you know the tables have turned, not when the situation changes, but when your heart does. This isn't about karma or payback, it's about divine order. The same God who allowed the storm will make sure it serves your good. Every wrong will bow to His righteousness. Every lie will crumble under His truth. And the best part? You won't have to lift a finger to make it happen. You've already seen glimpses of it, doors reopening that were slammed shut. Opportunities returning. Peace finding its way back into your home. These are early signs of reversal. The tide is turning quietly, steadily, until one day you'll stand in the very place that once caused you pain and feel only gratitude. There's something holy about surviving injustice with grace. It's the mark of those who have seen the face of God in the middle of betrayal and chose love instead of bitterness. That kind of endurance doesn't go unnoticed. Heaven keeps records of mercy shown under pressure. You have been seen, defended, and vindicated. The evidence against you has been overturned. The accusations silenced. Your story is not one of defeat, but of divine reversal. What tried to destroy you will now display God's goodness through you. And when the tables turn fully, you won't need to announce it. The peace radiating from your presence will speak louder than any words. People will see it in your eyes, hear it in your tone, feel it in your calm. That's the language of the vindicated, the quiet confidence of one who knows the judge has ruled in their favor. So rest your case now. The verdict stands. The Lord is good, and He has cared for you through it all. The turning has already begun. There are endings that don't come with applause. Some close quietly, like a candle extinguishing in the dark. You don't always realize you've reached the end of a chapter until one day you try to return to it and it no longer fits. That's how God closes seasons. Not in chaos, but in calm. He lets things fade so that you'll be ready for what's new. Endings can feel like loss, but in heaven's language, they are beginnings dressed in disguise. When one thing finishes, it's not because God has run out of goodness, it's because He's preparing to pour it out differently. You've been asking for a new season. But newness always requires closure first. As written in the book of Haggai, chapter 2, verse 9, "The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former house, says the Lord Almighty, and in this place I will grant peace." And that's heaven's promise. What's coming is greater, not louder, not flashier, greater, in peace, in depth, in purpose. You might have loved what was, but you'll thrive in what's next. Because this time, it won't just be a blessing, it will be alignment. There was a chosen one who struggled to let go of a past that once felt holy. Every sign of change felt like loss. Every goodbye like punishment. But one night, while praying, they heard a soft voice in their spirit. You can't receive what's next while clinging to what was. From that moment on, peace began to replace resistance. The past didn't vanish, but its hold broke. That's how grace works. It doesn't erase your story, it redeems it. You're in that same sacred space now, the in-between, where one chapter fades and the next begins to form. The air feels different because heaven is breathing transition into your life. Old doors are closing, not to trap you, but to direct you. It's normal to grieve even good endings. You invested time, prayer, love, and watching something finish can sting. But endings are not evidence of failure, they're evidence of fulfillment. A tree doesn't mourn when its fruit is picked. It simply rests, knowing another season of growth will come. Your spirit is doing the same thing now, resting, realigning, releasing. You've outgrown certain patterns, certain relationships, certain mindsets. You've been stretched for something greater. And this stretching is your confirmation that you're not being abandoned, you're being advanced. Think of a sunrise. Before dawn, the sky darkens completely, almost as if light has disappeared forever. But that darkness isn't final, it's preparation. The horizon must empty itself before the first light can rise. That's what's happening inside you. The space that feels empty right now is simply being cleared for greater glory. God is not repeating your old story. He's writing a sequel with deeper purpose, richer peace, stronger faith. You are not going backward. The places that once felt like endings will soon echo with new beginnings. And now, heaven invites you to mark this turning point with faith. Not to prove anything, but to seal something. I invite you to comment the number 555 below. The number 555 carries the vibration of divine transformation, grace multiplied, change sanctified, transition completed. It's heaven's way of saying, you're not losing, you're being repositioned. When you type 555, you're declaring, I release what was, and I welcome what is coming. It's a prophetic act of trust, a visual echo of surrender. Think of it as planting a flag at the border of old and new. You're not erasing the journey, you're acknowledging the shift. Each 555 becomes a footprint of faith, a silent declaration that you're walking forward into God's perfect order for your life. Every time a chapter ends, something in heaven rejoices, because closure on earth means movement in eternity. The pause you feel isn't punishment, it's grace giving you room to breathe before acceleration. The winds are changing direction. The Spirit is rearranging your atmosphere. So don't cling to the ashes of what once was. Gather them as proof of what fire could not destroy. You are entering a season where peace will outweigh the pain of letting go. The promise remains, the glory of the latter will be greater. End of teen. When you write 555, imagine it as heaven's doorbell. It's your gentle knock, your way of saying, I'm ready for what's next. And heaven always answers knocks made in faith. You are stepping into a chapter written not by struggle, but by surrender. The ink is still wet, the pages still warm, and the author is smiling. The ending is not the end. It's the moment before everything new begins. There are seasons when faith feels like armor, heavy to wear but necessary for survival. You've had days where hope was your only defense, where prayer was the only thing between you and collapse. You may not have realized it, but those moments were holy. The struggle to keep believing is not weakness, it's warfare. And every time you chose to keep walking, heaven saw the light still burning in you. You've been clothed in invisible strength, and perhaps you didn't even notice. It wasn't the loud kind of power that demands attention. It was quiet, steadfast, unbreakable. You have become a carrier of light, even in the darkest of places, as declared in the letter to the Romans, chapter 13, verse 12. The night is nearly over, the day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. Oh, the armor of light isn't made of metal or stone. It's forged from trust, shaped by truth, and sealed with love. Every time you forgave, instead of retaliated, you added another piece. Every time you prayed through tears, you polished its shine. Every time you refused to let bitterness take root, you strengthened its protection. You may not see it, but the spiritual realm does. You shine more than you know. There was a chosen one who walked through a valley that felt endless. The path was lonely, and every step forward cost them something: time, comfort, sometimes even peace. They began to wonder if light could survive in such darkness. But one night, in prayer, they saw it clearly, not the end of their pain, but a faint glow around their spirit. It wasn't the light at the end of the tunnel, it was the light within them. From that day, the darkness could no longer scare them. That's what happens when you wear the armor of light. You stop fighting to escape the dark and start realizing that light doesn't need permission to exist. It simply shines, and darkness cannot comprehend it. You might not feel radiant right now, but faith often glows quietly. The courage that got you out of bed, the kindness you show when you're exhausted, the hope you still whisper over your life, these are glimmers of your armor. The enemy has tried to dim it, but it cannot be extinguished. Light born from surrender can't be stolen. Imagine a candle burning in a cave. The walls are rough, the air is thick, and shadows seem endless. Yet the flame persists small, steady, beautiful. That's your soul. The cave is temporary, the flame is eternal. You were never meant to be defined by your surroundings, only by the light you carry through them. The armor of light doesn't isolate you from pain, it transforms pain into purpose. Every blow you've endured has only made you stronger. Every heartbreak has expanded your compassion. Every moment of confusion has deepened your wisdom. The enemy thought those battles would break you, but all they did was teach you how to shine. This armor also brings clarity. It teaches you to recognize what is truly worth fighting for and what isn't. Some battle don't deserve your energy. Not every voice deserves your response. The more you walk in light, the less you need to prove your worth. You simply live it. Wearing the armor of light also means learning to stand still. Sometimes victory doesn't come through movement, but through refusing to let fear dictate your next step. It's choosing to stay rooted when everything around you shakes, because when you stand, fully clothed in light, you become immovable. Darkness can rage, but it cannot cross the line of peace that surrounds you. There's something deeply humbling about realizing that your greatest protection is not control, but surrender. The armor of light is not something you build by striving, it's something you receive by resting in who God is. He wraps you in peace like a shield, covers you with grace like a cloak, and fills you with courage that outlasts every attack. The night is nearly over. You can feel it, the shift. The quiet hum of dawn in the distance. The darkness that once seemed endless is beginning to break apart. And though it tried to define you, it has only refined you. You are the light bearer now, not because you've never known darkness, but because you've walked through it and refused to let it own you. The glow you carry is not borrowed, it's born, it's divine. So keep walking, keep shining. The world doesn't need perfection, it needs proof that hope survives. And that proof, chosen one, is you. There comes a moment when everything you've prayed for begins to move, not with chaos or noise, but with quiet precision. You don't always see the shift immediately, but you feel it. It's the soft hum beneath the ordinary, the sense that heaven has turned a page in your story. You're still standing in the same place, but the atmosphere feels different. That's what divine timing sounds like, a whisper that carries the weight of miracles. Miracles rarely begin with spectacle. They begin with surrender. Before anything changes around you, something changes within you. Your heart stops striving and starts trusting. You stop rehearsing outcomes and begin releasing control. And suddenly, without fanfare or warning, the impossible begins to bend in your direction. As spoken in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." No, strength and courage, those have been your companions, even when you didn't realize it. Every time you chose faith over fear, you stepped closer to your miracle. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, has been building momentum in heaven. The things that once felt delayed are now aligning with divine speed. There was a chosen one who had prayed for years for breakthrough. Each year passed quietly, with no visible sign of change. But deep down, their faith kept whispering, "Keep believing." Then, one ordinary morning, everything shifted, not because they did something different, but because the appointed time had finally arrived. What had been frozen began to flow. The doors that resisted for years suddenly swung open with ease. That's how miracle seasons begin, not with noise, but with release. God doesn't rush, He reveals, and when He does, everything that once resisted His promise begins to cooperate. The same situations that once opposed you now become pathways to fulfillment. Think of a frozen river in winter. For months, it looks lifeless, unmoving, silent. But beneath the surface, water is still flowing. Pressure is building. And at the right temperature, crack, everything begins to move. The thaw doesn't destroy the ice, it transforms it. That's how your life feels right now. Things that seemed motionless are about to move with power. You've been in a waiting season. Yes, but you've also been in a preparation season. Miracles don't come to the unready, they come to the steady. Every prayer, every act of faith, every tear that fell in surrender has been accumulating in heaven's reservoir. And now, the floodgates are starting to open. You might not hear the roar yet, but the current has started to shift. God has whispered the word "now" over situations you thought were finished. The dry places are beginning to bloom again. Dreams that seemed buried are stirring, stretching, remembering their purpose. This is not random, it's revelation in motion. The miracle shift isn't about luck, it's about divine alignment. Heaven doesn't operate on your schedule. But when the time is right, nothing can stop what's been decreed. The forces that worked against you now have to make room for you. Miracles often arrive disguised as small beginnings. Don't dismiss the subtle signs, the phone call, the unexpected peace, the new idea that won't leave your mind. These are the gentle ripples that precede the wave. Heaven rarely shouts its arrival. It whispers so that only the listening heart will hear. You've learned enough in your wilderness to recognize the signs. You know now that waiting is never wasted, that the silence before breakthrough is always holy. Every moment has been leading here to this shift, this opening, this breath of divine change. And when it comes, it will feel effortless. The doors will open naturally. The people meant for you will appear without striving. The provision will meet you in motion. Because this isn't you forcing a miracle, it's you finally walking in one. You won't need to announce it. The peace on your face will speak louder than words. People will look at you and sense something changed, though they won't be able to explain it. That's the fragrance of favor, the afterglow of divine intervention. So, walk forward with courage. The command from heaven is still the same. Be strong, be courageous. I am with you. That promise is enough. The miracle shift has already begun. It's just moving quietly, wrapping itself around every part of your life that once felt barren. And soon, what was once a prayer will become your daily reality. You won't have to force the doors open this time. They're already unlocking at the sound of your faith. You've walked through fire, waited through silence, and now you find yourself standing in a stillness that doesn't feel empty. It feels sacred. This is the rhythm of eternal alignment. When your spirit finally moves in harmony with heaven, you stop chasing and start flowing. You stop striving to make things happen and start recognizing that the wind of God is already carrying you where you're meant to go. There's a peace that settles deep when your life begins to match heaven's tempo. You no longer feel the need to force doors open or prove your worth. You begin to sense that the steps you're taking are not random, they're rehearsed by eternity. Every pause, every delay, every breakthrough, each one has been tuned like notes in a divine song. As written in the letter to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 7, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." That kind of peace is not passive, it's power in motion. It guards you from confusion. It protects you from chaos. And it teaches you how to live in rhythm with grace. You've been through enough to know that peace is not found in the absence of storms, but in the presence of stillness within them. There was once a chosen one who spent years trying to build life by their own plans. They made moves that seemed logical, but felt empty. Every victory felt temporary. Then one day, they stopped running long enough to listen. In the quiet, they realized they'd been chasing outcomes when God had been calling them to alignment. When they finally surrendered, everything began to flow differently. What they used to force began to form naturally. The blessings didn't have to be hunted, they came looking for them. That's what happens when you live aligned with heaven. Opportunities don't vanish, they gravitate. Relationships become peaceful instead of pressured. Doors open without noise. You begin to walk in a rhythm where grace feels like breathing. The anxiety that used to drive you is replaced by a quiet confidence that whispers, "I am exactly where I'm meant to be." No, alignment isn't perfection, it's partnership. It's learning to walk at the same pace as the Spirit. When He slows, you slow. When He moves, you move. And when He speaks, you listen. It's not about keeping up, it's about keeping close. That's where your peace has been waiting all along, in proximity, not performance. Right now, heaven is tuning your steps again. The old rhythm of striving is fading, and a new tempo of trust is taking over. You can feel it, the difference between carrying the weight of your future and simply being carried by it. This is what maturity in faith feels like. Effort turning into ease. Worry melting into worship. And from this place of alignment, there comes a natural desire to share light. Because peace like this doesn't stay contained, it radiates. It spills over quietly, touching others without even trying. So, if this word feels like the rhythm of your soul, if you can sense your spirit breathing easier, click the heart as a simple act of agreement. Think of it like placing a hand over your chest and saying, "Yes, this peace belongs here." Oh, if you feel someone you know is still struggling to find this rhythm, share this message the way one musician shares a melody with another, so that their heart might find the same tune yours has just discovered. And if something inside you whispers that this space feels like home, subscribe, not as a reaction, but as a continuation. Like joining a choir that already sings your song. You're not adding noise, you're adding harmony. Finally, in the quiet of this moment, I invite you to comment something simple and true. Write a word that captures what this peace means to you. Maybe it's balance. Maybe it's home. Or maybe it's just finally. Whatever it is, let it rise naturally, like a prayer without pressure. Every comment is like a pebble dropped in still water, ripples of peace reaching hearts you may never meet. Each word you write becomes part of this quiet symphony of gratitude. These small acts, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, aren't transactions, they're testimonies. Each one is a soft echo of faith, a way of saying, "I found something sacred, and I want others to feel it too." The rhythm of eternity is not loud. It's the gentle, steady beat of surrender and serenity. And now, you're moving to that beat. Every step you take from here will carry the sound of grace, the sound of someone who no longer fights the current, but flows with it. You are aligned. You are steady. You are where heaven meant for you to be all along. There is a sound that heaven makes when a soul obeys. It's not loud, not thunder or trumpets. It's more like the sound of wind through trees. The soft applause of angels witnessing courage born from surrender. That's the sound that fills heaven now, because you chose to stay when it would have been easier to walk away. You chose faith when logic said quit. You chose to believe even when the evidence was missing. That is why heaven celebrates you, not because of perfection, but because of perseverance. not because you never fell, but because you always rose again. Every stumble became a step, every scar became a story, and every tear watered the soil of something sacred. You may not realize it, but joy has been building quietly inside you, waiting for this moment to overflow. As written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 15, verse 10, in the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. If heaven rejoices for one soul turning back to God, imagine the celebration when that soul stays faithful through the fire. Imagine the light that erupts when you, the chosen one, decide to trust again. Every act of obedience has been recorded, not for judgment, but for honor. There was a chosen one who once thought their journey had gone unnoticed. Life had been hard, victories few, and gratitude felt difficult. But then one night, in quiet prayer, a simple truth settled in. Heaven notices what the world forgets. Every unseen effort, every private surrender, every quiet, yes, all of it mattered. And in that revelation, peace came. They realized they didn't need applause on earth because heaven had already celebrated them in eternity. That's what's happening right now. You are being honored in ways you cannot yet see. The unseen realm knows your story. Angels have walked beside you through battles you didn't even know were happening. Every moment you whispered, God, help me, became a signal flare in the dark. And heaven responded, you are not alone. And you never were. Imagine the throne room for a moment, not as a distant place, but as a realm that leans close. You stand there, not as a beggar, but as a beloved child. Light wraps around you, not to blind you, but to reveal who you've always been. Heaven doesn't see your failures, it sees your faith. And in that light, every fear loses its voice. The angels aren't celebrating your success, they're celebrating your surrender. Because in a world obsessed with control, surrender is rebellion. You've chosen the narrow path, the one that leads to peace rather than pride, to purpose rather than recognition. And that choice shifts worlds. You see, heaven doesn't measure greatness by visibility. The quiet ones, the faithful ones, the consistent ones, they are heaven's heroes. You are one of them. The applause of angels isn't about noise, it's about recognition that something eternal has taken root in you. You've become proof that grace works, that mercy transforms, that love truly never fails. Think of joy as rain after drought. It falls not with chaos, but with restoration. That's what's happening to your spirit now. The soil that was once dry and cracked is soaking in the water of divine delight. You may not have noticed it yet, but your heart is healing. The edges that were sharp are softening. The weight you carried is dissolving. This is what heaven's joy feels like, not a sudden shout, but a steady stream. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not the one that changes your situation, but the one that changes your heart. Heaven celebrates not because you've reached perfection, but because you've become unshakable. The trials that once broke you now bow before the strength God placed inside you. The celebration is not distant, it's here. Every moment, you feel unexpected peace. Every wave of quiet gratitude that rises for no reason, that's heaven's joy brushing against your soul. You are feeling eternity's applause. And this joy doesn't fade when life gets hard again. It's not fragile. It's a joy anchored in something deeper than circumstance. It's rooted in the truth that you've been seen, chosen, redeemed, and crowned with purpose. So rest now. You've done well. The angels sing not because the journey is easy, but because you never stopped walking. Heaven celebrates you not someday, but now. Your life has become a song of victory whispered through generations, a melody of mercy that heaven will keep replaying long after this world fades. You are, and will always be, the reason heaven rejoices. Happiness, the kind heaven writes into your spirit, isn't loud. It doesn't depend on applause, possessions, or the approval of others. It arrives like sunrise after a long night, gentle, certain, unstoppable. You don't need to chase it anymore, because happiness has been quietly finding its way back to you through every act of faith, every prayer whispered in exhaustion, every moment you chose to trust when fear told you not to. What you feel beginning to glow inside you now isn't ordinary joy, it's the smile of God taking residence in your soul. The same peace that once felt unreachable is now rising within you. And it's not temporary, it's eternal. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 11, I have told you this so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete. That verse doesn't speak of fleeting emotion. It speaks of fullness of a joy that doesn't come and go, but abides. Jesus didn't promise a life free of storms. He promised a heart that could smile even in the middle of them. The happiness he gives isn't escape, it's endurance wrapped in grace. There was a chosen one who spent years searching for happiness in things that glittered but never satisfied. They chased success, approval, even peace in people who couldn't give it. But one day, sitting in silence, they realized that the happiness they'd been searching for was never lost. It was buried beneath the noise. When they finally stopped running, it rose like a spring breaking through stone. And from that day, they understood happiness isn't found, it's revealed. That revelation is reaching you now. You've spent years trying to become enough, earn enough, heal enough, and somewhere in the process, you forgot that you already were. You were chosen before you ever achieved, loved before you ever changed, worthy before you ever proved it. The smile of God is not something you work for, it's something you recognize. It's the awareness that your life, with all its scars and stories, still delights Him. You are not a disappointment, you are a design. You are not too late, you are perfectly timed. The happiness you feel returning is not from circumstances improving, it's from your soul finally aligning with truth. True happiness doesn't demand proof, it simply is. It's waking up and realizing that even if nothing changes externally, something beautiful has shifted internally. It's the quiet confidence that you are loved, safe, and guided. It's the knowing that, even when life shakes, the foundation remains steady. Think of happiness as a flame lit by heaven's own hand. You can't manufacture it, you can only tend to it. You feed it with gratitude, protect it with faith, and let it grow by living honestly. The more you honor that flame, the brighter it burns, not just for you, but for others still wandering in the dark. This happiness doesn't erase sadness, it redeems it. It teaches you to see beauty even in brokenness, to find purpose in pain, to see light where others see only shadow. That's the miracle of divine contentment. It transforms suffering into strength and memories into meaning. There is a softness in you now that wasn't there before. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. The kind of wisdom that knows joy can coexist with tears, that peace can sit quietly beside uncertainty. You no longer chase after happiness, it lives within you, steady as breath, patient as dawn. One day, you'll look back and realize that this right here was the moment everything changed. Not when you finally got what you prayed for, but when you finally understood that His presence was the answer all along. You carry the eternal smile of God now. It shines through your kindness, your gentleness, your steady hope. It's in your laughter, but also in your silence. It's not the happiness the world promises, it's the happiness heaven sustains. And this joy, this peace, this divine contentment, it will never leave you. Because it's not a gift that can be taken away, it's a union that cannot be undone. You have become what you were always meant to be, a reflection of God's happiness, walking through the world as living proof that heaven still touches earth through human hearts. So, rest in that truth. You are whole. You are radiant. You are home in His presence. The eternal smile of God now lives in you, and that chosen one is happiness without end. And now, as the final words settle, the silence feels holy, like the air after rain, like the stillness before dawn. You've journeyed through fire, through waiting, through revelation, through peace. You've discovered not only that you were chosen, but why you were chosen: to carry light, to walk in truth, to shine with the quiet joy of someone who knows they are deeply loved. This is not an ending, it's a threshold. What happens after you leave this moment will not erase what was awakened here, it will amplify it. Every word you've heard has been a seed, and now your heart becomes the garden where it grows. Let it bloom through your kindness, through your courage, through every act of love that ripples beyond this space. If this journey has touched something within you, if you felt the whisper, the warmth, the sense that heaven was near, click the heart as a gentle way of saying, I felt the light. Let it be your quiet nod to the divine, your way of letting gratitude breathe. If someone comes to mind, a friend, a stranger, a soul still searching, share this message as if you were handing them a candle in the dark. Not to convince, but to comfort. Not to preach, but to remind them that light still exists. And if this space has become a sanctuary for your spirit, subscribe, not out of habit, but out of hunger, to stay near the words that remind you who you truly are. Finally, before you go, comment one word that captures what this experience has meant to you. Just one word. It could be peace, light, home, or renewed. That single word becomes part of the echo. Heaven hears a note added to a chorus of awakened hearts. Because this isn't farewell. This is continuation. You are part of something greater now, a movement of light, a living message of hope, a reflection of divine joy sent back into the world. Like, share, subscribe, comment, not as commands, but as offerings of gratitude, acts of love, echoes of faith. You are chosen, and your story has only just begun.